of you remember what this? How many of you know what this? Okay, this is called what? For those of you in this part of the world, this is called what? Okay, you see, while we were growing up in the streets, while we were growing up in the avenue, we were not allowed to play what? Because it was largely believed that when you see young people gathered in a large number playing what? It's either they are playing gambling or doing something notorious. And the families frown against gambling, society frowned against gambling, the government frowned against gambling. So we were not allowed to play this. Okay, now the only gambling that we saw then was the one that old men played, they call pool. And the young people were not interested in playing pool. You know pool? The one you always see with local cotton. It was not attractive at all. It was still like the game for the old. And Lotto, the game for the old. So people were not interested in that. So the big firms of the world noticed that young Africans are not interested in that local game. Especially the ones you have in Nigeria, Babi Jabu, that was, seen as the game for the old. So what did they do? They decided to rebrand gambling. So they rebranded gambling and brought in so many betting organizations as you have today. Let me not call their names. You know them already. So what did they do? They noticed that the youths are taken into football. And so they went straight into the football and brought gambling there to channel your energy towards there. Alright? And at the end of the day, they label it reward for your passion. So funny. And in order to avoid being gotten caught in the web of the government, and in order for them to show that they still care about you even when they don't, they say play responsibly. Have you ever seen where someone play gambling responsibly? It's impossible. It's like telling a drunkard to drink responsibly. That is impossible. Do you understand? So it boils down to what the philosopher said. There is no such thing as immorality. Immorality is what society has not yet accepted. The day society accepts it, it ceases from being immoral to be moral. So in the early 60s, in the early 70s and 80s, we were not allowed to play gambling. We were not allowed to even hold it in our hands. But today, people boldly walk into bet shops and play gambling, so proud of it. And even when they win money, they come out and tell us gambling has paid, and the government does not arrest them. Why? Because the betting organizations, the betting companies have paid their dues. So as much as you say to the government, what is seen as immoral ceases from being immoral to being moral. So it is left for you to control your mind, because even the government can be wrong. That is what we fail to tell ourselves. So the government is not a criteria or a prerequisite to what is right or just, but your moral mindset should tell you what you should engage in. You should not engage in it because it feels right. You should engage in it because it is right. Africa, wisdom is the principal thing.